there's a level up from what's possible, if that makes any sense to you. Now, I know that it sounds strange, but it's going to make sense if you just stick with me here. Because you may be at a standstill right now, and you're thinking about all these possibilities and everything that, you know, is out there available for you, but you're not actually doing anything. And this is why I want you to think about. Today, I want to talk to you about how you can turn possibilities that you see into realities in your life. And I'm going to give you a very, very simple concept, but it's one that you may not have actually thought of before. So I want you to stick around and hear me out. But first, let me just say that I'm Mark Johnson, the founder of BouncePep, bringing you ideas for a fit and flourishing future. I'm also the youngest son of Bill Johnson. I want you to come on out to Japan, join one of our personal development experiences. But before you do that, I want you to hear this message, and then I want you to let it sink in, and I want you to follow through on what you hear today, okay? Now, with all that said, let me just say that I would appreciate you leaving questions and comments, because a lot of times I do respond. You'd be surprised many, many times if you send me a message, I'll send one back. And also, if you like something that I say, go ahead and hit the like or the thumbs up button, please. Now, let's just jump in. Life, the world, is full of possibilities. And it's a beautiful thing, right? There are a lot of possibilities. Now, I know that sometimes possibilities can seem constrained by where you're at, the environment that you're in, even the country that you're in. Some places seem to offer more possibilities than other places. And so I understand that different people will have different senses of what's possible for their lives, a lot of times just based on where they were born or where they grew up or who they're around. But I'm just telling you from my perspective, I think there are a lot of possibilities for each and every one of us. That includes you. There are plenty of possibilities for your life. And I'm sure that you probably see some possibilities. And that's a beautiful thing. So I want you to believe in what's possible, because the truth is anything is possible. I mean, obviously you have some in terms of pure, physics, you have some physical limits that will make some things pretty far fetched. But in general, anything that we can imagine is typically possible. Okay, somebody can figure out how to make it happen. And that is true for you as well. But I want you to understand that there's a level up from what's possible, if that makes any sense to you. Now, I know that it sounds strange, but it's going to make sense if you just stick with me here. There's a level up from what's possible for you. Okay. The first thing I want you to understand is that when you say it's possible, that's an abstraction. Okay. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's possible for you. You just have the thought that something is possible for somebody. Okay. It's theoretical, so to speak. And that's fine. That's fine. But you don't want to stop thinking there. Okay. So, what is this next level up from it's possible? Well, that is it's doable. Very, very, it sounds deceptively simple, doesn't it? It's doable. Such a simple term. But let's think about this for a second. What exactly is the difference between the two? Okay? Possible versus doable. They sound similar, but they're quite different. So, as I mentioned to you before, what's possible is an abstraction. Okay? Yeah, it can be done by somebody, but that doesn't say anything about you in particular. We're talking about you in your life. Okay. How do you get to your next level? So, what you want to think is you want to think to yourself, it's doable. And the reason is because it's doable puts you into a totally different mindset. It's doable gets you thinking about action. It gets you thinking about how you can actually do what it is you believe is possible. Okay. So it's doable is more of a stimulus, whereas it's possible is simply theoretical. So when you say something is doable, then it stimulates your thoughts even more because now you start trying to figure it out. And now you start thinking about what can you do right now to move the needle. Okay, it's doable is more immediate and it's more concrete than it's possible. And so this is why I say it's the next level up from it's possible because it's doable gets you to actually take some action. Remember that do is literally an action. Okay, when you say something is possible, well, that's doesn't actually suggest any action. It doesn't necessarily stimulate any action. But when you think to yourself it's doable, this is much that thought is much more likely to stimulate action and to get you thinking more about what specifically you can do right now. What step you can take right now to make some difference, okay? To actually get going. Because you may be at a standstill right now and you're thinking about all these possibilities and everything that, you know, is out there available for you, but you're not actually doing anything. And this is why I want you to think about it's doable. That's the thought I want you to have. It's doable. I want you to put yourself in that mindset. You know, when I was in my 20s and I started investing in real estate, I was investing in rental properties. And I bought like 5 or 6 properties within a couple of years, right? And I was renting them out and everything. But at the time, I was just thinking pretty much about what was doable. And so it was like I figured out, okay, this is the process. All right, so let me just take this step. Okay, so I went and looked up some properties and then I called, whoever I needed to call, whoever the agent or the broker was in charge of the property. And then I learned about, financing terms and everything like that. And then we got with a bank. And then I just went through the process. And of course, the first time, it's a big learning curve. But with each successive property, I knew more, I understood more, but it all began with the idea that it was doable in the first place. I didn't simply look at other people who had property and said, oh, it's possible. No, I was thinking like, okay, how am I going to do this? Right. So I don't want you to look at other people and see everything that they have, all the great and wonderful things that they have, and simply think to yourself, oh, that's possible because they have it. Well, that's not good enough for you. Okay, for you, I want you to think it's doable. Okay, and that is what is going to get you to take action. So not only do I want you to think it, I want you to decide that it's doable. You have to make a decision that it's doable. Okay. So this is my message for you today. I'm going to leave you with that, and I want you to take this with you. Talk to you next time.